You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing they're Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm aherz, and this is
Cassie.
Cassie. How was your weekend?
It was really good. Okay, so your girl stopped working on Sunday, so I don't work the weekends no more.
What?
Because I needed to spend time with my children. It wasn't going good with me working on Sundays and only getting like Saturdays with them. So It wasn't working for me. And then like it's show season starting, so I was gonna have to call a bunch of them off anyways. Yeah, so Friday I went and picked up the boys and we went and had dinner, just me and them, and it was great. It was super expensive because it's a lot to feed teenage boys.
Yeah, I bet.
And they're 16 and they kept wanting more and more food. And I kept saying yes because I'm like, I want to feed you. I'm your mom.
Right. You can't tell them no.
Right. Saturday. So Saturday, Hunter went golfing with my nephew. And so me and John, we booked appointments at Ulta to get our eyebrows waxed.
Oh.
And that's the first time in 37 years I've had my eyebrows waxed. I did have them do the threading once, but I was in jail and a girl took the thread out of her pant waistband and did it. So she did a super good job. Even the guy there said, I was like, yeah, I kept the shape all 10 years. I liked it. And so, but okay, best part, a guy did our eyebrows, this young guy, probably out of school for like maybe 2 years, super young, super nice. I was so happy because it made John really comfortable.
Yeah.
And they talked and talked and talked because John got accepted into cosmetology school next year at the, what do you call it? The vocational school. It's called Polaris where they live. But, so that was fun. And then Sunday, me and Hunter went to Topgolf and we played like all the little games that they have on their simulators for like 2 hours. And so we got to spend time together. And yeah, that was a good weekend. And today I got a massage before work and then I went and laid in the red light therapy tanning bed because your shoulders don't work too good after you golf for 2 hours and you're not used to it. It's just not a good time. Not a good time. But it was a good time. I don't know. It was a good weekend. Pretty good. What about you? What'd you do?
I packed and cleaned and
That's
it. I guess you guys don't know. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about it. I'm moving soon. We went during the week. We found the perfect place. It'll be great and fantastic. But I'm still about 2 or 3 months away from actually, taking the plunge and doing the big move. But I'm gonna get ahead of it, and so that's what I've been doing. I've been getting ahead of it. I've been packing. I've been getting rid of stuff and just doing regular people things. So, I mean, if that's just about all I do right now, you guys, you're just going to have to get over it. I'll be back to doing other things, other really cool things really soon, I promise. Because I definitely need it, man. I need to be able to get out and get into the fucking woods. Jesus, I've been really struggling.
Well, a good thing is the weather hasn't really been like on your side for that yet.
It hasn't. No, not while I've been off work. I mean, I work like 45 to 50 hours a week, then I'm off on the weekends, and every fucking time I'm off, it's either too cold or it's raining or whatever. So, it's coming, eventually. So that has been what's I've been doing pretty much. I mean, I don't have any major projects or anything happening right now. We are doing a lot of work for the show. Actually, you did something really cool and exciting for the Patreon.
Yeah. So right now, I have a lot of short horror stories that I've wrote over the past couple years. And my whole plan was to put it into a couple anthology books, which I'm really getting into that and typing them all up now because John's writing his book. So we're kind of doing our books together. So every week on the Patreon, so I'm going to do it on Sundays, I'm going to post. Right now, the first story you're going to get the whole first story. So every week you'll get another chapter, and it'll be 10 weeks. So it's a 10,000 page or 10,000 word story. You'll get 1,000 words every week for a chapter. And then after this 10 weeks, I'm going to give you a teaser chapter, the first chapter, and all the other stories. So kind of get you psyched up and you know what's coming for the anthology. But that's just for Patreon members.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. We did another Patreon meetup on Thursday. We had another winner for a fantastic piece of art that Cassie will put out there for you guys to see and enjoy. But only one person gets to enjoy it with their hands, and that was Chris Holm.
Yeah, I posted it on Facebook again, so it's on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I mean, check that out. And then people have been asking about merchandise. I guess you guys want to wear us on your bodies is what I'm hearing from you folks. So, that's something that may be coming in the very near future. So yeah, all of my energy's been basically spent doing just regular, normal adult stuff, nothing cool and exciting, and also putting it back into the show because the show, deserves it. Now we're kind of getting back into the swing of things after coming off of our guest series. And we have a lot of cool things coming up, so stay tuned for that. But no, I didn't watch anything, do anything cool or exciting.
There's a couple things that are streaming right now that I want to watch, and I was totally planning on it, but we were so busy this week and I didn't get a chance to. But John Wick Ballerina just came out on Peacock. I'm definitely watching that soon. And what was the other one? Oh, the new Wicked. I want to watch that.
Yeah, I gotta do. It's mini golf season. That's my thing, y'all. I'm sure I've talked about it plenty on the show.
I love mini golf.
Love me some mini golf, and we have
but the boys are like in that stage where they're too old for it now. It's not cool. Or we go and they get so mad that they're like slamming the clubs.
Well, no, you're not too old for mini golf. And you're not too young for it.
In that like teenage stage, you're too cool for it. Let me put it that way.
I know. I'm like, I got to get friends that want to go do mini golf, but I'm like, well, I have a child, but she doesn't always want to go do. Like, I always want to go play mini golf.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a day where anybody's like, you want some mini golf today? I'm like, no, that's not me. That's not my vibe. Okay, like I'm here for it. I'm a mini golfer. So yeah, it's going to be mini golf season. So that's going to be a big thing in my life.
We have a really nice one here in Amish country.
I bet you do.
Yeah, it's right in front of the Encore Hotel. It's really nice. They have a ton of Hershey's ice cream. Phenomenal.
Some people are like, why don't you go to the real golf range? And we have them, but like that's not mini golf.
Right.
Mini golf
and
fun.
Topgolf just hurt my shoulder. I had to do therapy for it today. So
yeah, I want to do, like, we have disc golf courses and stuff. I've never done disc golf. I want to. People like, just go on the courses and you can just get discs like on the course. Like they're everywhere. I'm like, oh, really? So I might try that at some point too. But yeah, mini golf season. It's here. It's time.
And just so everyone knows, I'm not a big pussy and like, ow, my shoulder. No, since the car accident, I like pulled my rotator cuff and I can't really do much with that shoulder. So golf kind of killed it.
Right, but you still do it. That's the
right. It's my kids. I have to.
Right. You're like, whatever. Play through the pain.
Right.
Like an old football coach. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Probably the fastest weekend banter we've had so far.
Yeah.
But that's.
I mean, I did a lot, but
I also heard that you learned a lot this weekend about the Philadelphia experiment. So that's pretty cool.
I did. Actually, okay, funny thing, I learned a lot about Madame C.J. Walker. I learned a lot about a phantom gas station, and I learned a lot about the Philadelphia experiment, which are three things we are not talking about today. But I researched the crap out of them.
But we started on a conversation. We started talking about weird bathrooms.
Yes.
And, you were like, I wonder if there's enough to do an episode on. And I'm like, you know what? Probably. So I want to hear from the listeners. Go over to our Facebook page on Wednesdays We Talk Weird, the group. Let us know. We'll make a post. Tell us about any weird bathrooms that you know about. Because they definitely exist. Like,
right.
but we want to hear about them. What kind of weird bathrooms do you have in your state? What bathrooms are you known for?
Not necessarily yours, but like a public bathroom you've come across that.
Yes. With either it's interesting or it's neat or scary or whatever. Whatever. Just let us know about your strange bathrooms. We want to hear about them. Maybe we'll do an episode on weird bathrooms soon.
And I wasn't talking about weird bathrooms, right? I thought when you said the disco bathroom, I thought that was like another like time glitch, like backroom kind of story, like the Phantom gas station. So I'm like,
right.
I wonder if there's enough little stories like this. And then I realized, oh, the disco bathroom's a real fucking thing.
Real thing. Well, so you mentioned like the Phantom gas station, and I'm like, well, why would you go to a weird gas station? Because you got to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So that's how my brain got to bathroom.
This is how like two ADHD minds work when they're trying to put on a show. Like,
I guess you're right. I guess you weren't just talking about weird bathrooms, but
I still want to hear about your weird bathroom.
Yeah, then we started talking about the disco bathroom, which is a real thing. And not just in Ohio, but we have one in Ohio. There's like there's a couple of different states, and there's like these strange stories that nobody talks about. There's this mystery vending machine and like the middle of nowhere, not the middle of nowhere, it's somewhere in California. It's like in a neighborhood, and like nobody really knew who filled it, but it always had like weird and exotic sodas in it.
What?
Yeah, like stuff that yeah, like it's like stuff that you can't just go to the gas station and get. It's like only the Fanta flavors from like the UK or different weird Japanese. Yeah, it's like all weird sodas, and like you can only get that right. And it's this mystery vending machine, and it was there forever. And I believe they just took it out recently, and people were pissed off. I found out about it on Reddit, and then there's also the Art Bell, the fucking phone booth in the middle of the desert story. Which is a whole there's just these weird, strange places that you would just literally never think of, whatever has popped into your head that we did not talk about here when we talk about weird gas stations and weird bathrooms and weird phone booths. Tell us about it. Tell us about your little strange corner of weird that wouldn't quite make a full episode, but maybe all together would make a whole episode. I think that'd be a really fun topic, just a fucking grab bag of strange.
Right.
Strange 5-minute stories. But yeah, we'll talk about them. I'll find more details about the mystery vending machine.
Yeah, and I could figure out more about the Phantom gas station if you want details.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
But like, okay, the whole time I'm listening to this, so I'll tell you the story. So I'm listening, I looked up podcast for the Philadelphia experiment. And I was like, clicked on it, and I guess my app must have glitched because it went right into the podcast, but it was talking about Madame CJ Walker. And I'm taking notes and freaking everything, right? Like, I get like 25 minutes into it, and I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with the Philadelphia experiment? Like, it's about like the first Black female American millionaire that had her own hair care regime and was a door-to-door salesman and has this door-to-door salesman army. And I'm like waiting and waiting for it to get to this like weird Philadelphia experiment. And no, I went to look at the podcast page and it just went to a completely different podcast. I'm like, what the hell? I just wasted 25 minutes of my life because it wasn't even something like we could go back and use in a story because it wasn't weird.
You just needed to know about it for whatever reason.
Yeah. So then I look and I listen to the Philadelphia experiment and it keeps going and going and going. And they start talking about this Phantom gas station. It went to a whole nother podcast after the Philadelphia experiment podcast. Like, and I didn't even know it changed.
So it's just the spirits were in control of your...
And I thought we were doing an episode on the Philadelphia experiment today, but we are not.
We're not. Not today. Not this episode. Like I said, they both have experiment in the name, right? So, it's...
Yeah, but I'm like looking at the one that we're doing now, and I do know about this one, so props to me for knowing stupid shit. Like, I'm not going to be lost.
It pays off. Yep, it definitely pays off. No,
I've already researched this one before.
We will get through it. We'll make the best of it.
Yeah.
No, I think you guys are in for a treat. This is a really interesting topic. But before we get into today's topic, we do have 4 newses.
4
newses. Heavy news week. I'll go first. Me first.
All right.
We're going to talk about J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, which let me tell you, I fucking hate that fucking guy. Hate that guy. I don't care if he's a Democrat or Republican or whatever. I hate his fucking guts. I should probably be careful about how I say that in public, but he's a local. He grew up around probably 30 minutes away from where I live, so it's gross in Middletown, Ohio, which is disgusting. He got super popular writing that terrible book about Middletown, Ohio, basically, and how shit it is. I mean, he is right, it is shit, but he's from there, which means he's also shit, so fuck him.
Gotcha.
Just really disgusting person, but either way, he is the Vice President of the United States of America, and that is a fact. He made some interesting comments about aliens over the past week. J.D. Vance says that aliens are demonic. Don't think any of us are surprised by this. He said, quote, "I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion," he said on the Benny Show podcast that he did. Never heard of the Benny Show podcast, but
No.
Vance was on there. They were talking about aliens. They kind of asked him to elaborate. Like, what do you mean that's a longer discussion? That's a pretty big claim, my guy. What do you mean? Vance noted that throughout history, humanity has struggled to categorize these encounters by saying, quote, "Celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people. I think that's the desire, to describe everything as celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed." He also stated, "I'm more curious than anybody. I'm going to get to the bottom of this." So watch out, everybody. J.D. Vance is on the case. Okay, we got nothing to worry about anymore. Okay, J.D. Vance is going to get to the bottom of it.
With his pipe and monocle.
Yeah, and then he also had this other quote. He said, "I definitely fucked that couch." Is what he said.
What?
You haven't heard that?
That one I believe.
No, he didn't say that. Not this time. But yeah, I mean, this idea that aliens are demons is not a new concept. It's something that we encounter even still in ufology. A lot of people that believe that. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either, just to throw my 2 cents in.
I mean, there's nothing that strikes me as, I'm a demon or I'm the devil or whatever when it comes to these things. But of course, you also have to kind of believe in, Abrahamic religions for that to happen. And not everybody does. And, I'm one of the people that don't really. So, I mean, I think there's probably good aliens and there's probably bad aliens, just like there's good people and there's bad people.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just as susceptible. And I think that, what we perceive as bad isn't, they don't necessarily think is bad.
What if, their world is a shit show too, and they're the ones with enough money try to escape it to find something else, and they just come here and realize that it's the fucking same thing?
Deal with the same bullshit.
That's why they don't stay. They just leave. Fuck.
I'm like, oh, they got this asshole J.D. Vance as vice president. Yeah, fuck this place. Wow, look at this. No, probably. Sure, why not? It's silly because I did a show this week about of course one of the things we talked about was Injured Cold, and I told my favorite story of the whole Injured Cold saga are the other species, like humanoids or whatever they're called. I think they're just called humanoids, and they look a little more like gray aliens, of course, than Injured and his ilk, because they just look like us. But these look more like grays, and what they do is they steal shit from people, and they don't do it because they're being assholes. They do it because they don't understand the concept of possessions. So if you leave your car in a parking lot, they go, "Oh shit, I like that car and nobody's there. It must be free." And then they just take it.
Gotcha.
And every little bit, Indrid and his crew have to come by and like they'll catch them stealing shit. And it's to me, it reminds me of like Dora the Explorer. So like they're in the middle of stealing something, and Indrid pulls up and he's like, "Swiper, no swiping." And they're like, "Oh man," and then they just leave. Because like I said, they're not being assholes. They don't understand. So like, but to us, like if someone steals your shit, you're like, "Wow, fuck that guy. What a thief." Right? Terrible person. But like these guys, they don't see it that way. They don't they share everything, and so it's just totally. So again, what we perceive as bad might not necessarily be bad to them, and vice versa, right?
Right.
They probably think we suck for certain things that we do, and we do suck for certain things that we do. But yeah, I don't agree with Mr. Vice President there. But I will wait with bated breath. I mean, he seems to have, he states that he's had an interest in aliens forever. I believe that, especially somebody who's so close to somewhere like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Right.
I think we're
And
all
I give him credit. He publicly said something about it.
He's allowed to have an opinion, just like the rest of us, and,
right. Like he's not worried about people thinking he's a weirdo, and he's a public figure.
Right. Well, he's not going to get much bigger besides when he runs for president, because he will inevitably.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, who the fuck are we to tell him, that he's stupid? He don't care. He's laughing all the way to the bank with his money and his infamy. Like I said, he's entitled to his opinion, and that's okay. Shit, maybe he's right.
He might be. We don't know.
We don't know, right? We got no way of knowing. I don't think that's the case, but prove me wrong, JD Vance. I'd love you to. By all means, release all those files. Right? We heard over a month ago Trump said he's gonna release them all, and they're not here yet. So, what are we waiting on?
Will Smith had to sign off on it.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. He's a little too old to be fighting aliens nowadays.
Well, that's the problem. He needs to make sure he's getting money coming in, because he's not making any more movies at the moment.
Yeah.
He wants his Independence Day money, like, coming in.
Or his Men in Black money coming in.
Yeah.
Shit,
I forgot he was the Men in Black.
That's right. Literally, yeah. It was him. But yeah, so that was my first news. If you want to go ahead and lead us on with the second.
Yeah, so an unarmed armed man shoots an unarmed armed man. And if that's confusing, it's confusing until you figure it out, okay? So Dayton Weber, who's 27, he's accused of shooting someone called Bradrick Wells, which was one of his buddies in Maryland when an argument pursued while Dayton was driving Bradrick and two other friends. So, the crazy part of this story, it's just not like a murder shooting story, is that Weber is the first quadruple amputee to be charged with killing someone. He is also the first quadruple amputee to compete in the professional televised American Cornhole League. Which that's a thing I accidentally turned the channel to it one day, and I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. And I was probably watching this guy and didn't even know it.
You just came across it on accident.
Yeah, because it's what's it labeled? AC. It's labeled ACL. Like, so if you go to the sports channel, it'll just say ACL, like PGA or whatever. Yeah. Like, that's the abbreviation. So I didn't know what it was, so I like clicked on it, and I'm like, oh, makes sense.
But you didn't see him.
No, I don't think so. I didn't pay attention to the names. I didn't know I was gonna watch like a professional like murderer happen or anything.
So he doesn't have any arms or legs.
Correct. So Weber allegedly shot Wells to death, pulled over, and asked the other two passengers to help him remove the dead man from the car. The others refused, got out of the car, and fled the scene. Then Weber drove away with the body of Wells. The two witnesses, the ones who fled, flagged down police officers, told them what happened, and that set off the search for Weber. A couple hours later, a resident called of a nearby town and reported a body that was laying in their yard. Police found that it was Wells, and then Weber was found 150 miles away at a hospital getting treatment for unspecified injuries. That's the story. The best part of the story, the Facebook comments. So I took down a few of the best comments that were on there.
Okay, let's hear them.
And but let me go to this. Okay. So he's driving a car. He shoots somebody with a gun. None of the freaking articles even imply that he has prosthetics. He has to have prosthetics. You know what I mean? But since none of the articles put that in there, the comments went freaking crazy.
You guys can't. Sometimes I wish that this was a video because I'm like internally having a meltdown right now.
Why?
Because what do you mean? Hold on. Wait a second here.
Go for it.
Okay. No arms, no legs,
no arms.
How does he drive? How?
It's got to be prosthetics.
Even if you have prosthetics, how do you? Maybe leg prosthetics. Well, maybe there's
okay, no arms, no legs since he was an infant, because when he was a baby, he was diagnosed with a blood disease that caused him to have his arms and legs amputated. He was also, ESPN recognized him in his high school days for wrestling as well. So he got a top 10 spot on ESPN for his wrestling career in high school. So he's got no arms, no legs, okay?
He's... I don't want it anymore.
The picture of his mugshot is only of his face. I don't know if that's because that's the only thing he has left, or they made him take off the prosthetics because they could be used as weapons. I don't know.
What? Okay, so he's driving, all right, fine. He's got prosthetics. Okay, whatever. But then how do you shoot a gun with no arms and no legs?
It's like Terminator shit. I don't know.
I don't.
The article is so vague about how it happens because I think they want the comments. I think they don't. Okay, so all the articles, every single freaking I read like 7 articles from different papers about this, different websites. All the articles are so focused on his career of being a quadruple amputee and all these amazing things that he did with his life that it doesn't focus at all on the shooting or the man that died. It's bullshit how the articles are all wrote. They make him sound like this magical person, but he shot and killed someone.
I mean, that is really fucking magical. If he did nothing else and just shot and killed somebody while he's fucking driving and not having any arms and legs, that's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, that's the craziest.
Well, there's 3 other people with arms and legs in the vehicle.
And then he stops the car and he's like, that's these people. Hey, could you help me with this? I got a little issue going on. Could you help me out? Yeah. So I looked at pictures of him. He definitely has leg prosthetics.
Okay.
Not necessarily that he wears them all the time, but while he doesn't have hands or feet, normally, I don't show where he has hand or arm prosthetics, but he seems to he's got the nubs, right? So he's and I mean this in the most inoffensive way I could possibly put it, y'all.
Who cares? He killed somebody.
Right? Fuck it. But he uses his nubs to do a lot of things, which is fine. But there's a picture of him holding a gun
and shooting it. There's a video of him loading it.
Watch the video. Yeah. Thank you. It's been a while since I've had a really good belly laugh, and I just...
So the comments. Okay.
Yes, go ahead. Let's stop making me look like the bad guy here. I'm going to mute while you can read the comments.
How does the right to bear arms work when you have no arms?
Oh my God. That's a good one. That's good.
This leaves only one thing he could have pulled the trigger with.
His wiener?
Yeah, I guess. Or his tongue. I don't know.
Right, his tongue, right? But maybe both at the same time.
So one of it's got to hold it, I guess.
Yeah, hold it with his mouth and then uses his wiener to pull the...
How are they going to check the gun for fingerprints?
Oh.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Oh.
Bet bail will cost him an arm and a leg.
Ooh.
And my favorite, he will soon be competing in a different cornhole kind of competition.
Oh. Yeah, he sure will. I know. He's shaped like a bean.
A bean bag.
You ever see that show, The Oblongs?
No.
It was pretty good. Check it out. It's an adult cartoon, but it's
Right.
about this like mutated family. Anyway, the dad, he doesn't have any arms or legs.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're like a family of mutants.
And he was probably not standing citizen.
Yeah, he did pretty good. My gosh, this is what in the fuck? I guess my favorite part is him asking for help. Like, you can murder a man, but you can't move the body. I mean, I think that like it's kind of an issue.
Like, and then he just went to the hospital for unspecified medical injuries. Like, what do you do when you see a guy with no arms and no legs come in with blood all over him? Like,
well, they probably felt bad for him. Got him in a chair right away. They got him a little popsicle.
The first thing, you would not think he just killed somebody. Like, how?
No, you would not. I mean, that really sucks that he, so I'm sorry. I just, the whole thing's so ridiculous. Why do we know why he killed him yet?
It said that it pursued over an argument they were having.
What in the fuck could they have been?
They were arguing, and then all of a sudden, he shoots him and then stops the car.
I mean, did the friend call him Stumpy or something? Like, what could they have been arguing about who's driving?
Right? He's probably like, man, this makes no sense.
He's like, right, let me fucking drive. I got arms and legs that you don't even have. And he's like, no, man, fuck you. I can do whatever I want.
And it was dude's car, too. Like, so he must drive all the time.
Oh, it was the amputee's arms.
It was the amputee's car.
Amputee's car. So it's his car. Yeah, but I don't understand what they could have been fighting. Like, you do all this amazing stuff in your life despite the fact that you had this severe disadvantage, right? And just to throw it away to kill somebody over what? What the fuck was so important?
Right. And like the American Cornhole League like commented on the case, and like all they said was, they said, we're sorry for everyone in this situation and all the families involved, even Bradrick Wells' family. Even he's the only family you should be fucking feeling bad for. Like,
he's the dead guy. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe they got the two mixed up. I don't know. Who the fuck could imagine that this dude shoots and kills someone? Oh my god. Well, I can't wait to figure out what happened. I really can't. I just can't. It's got to be so serious. It has to be a big fucking deal to throw your life away over that. Well, I guess there was two other people there, so they'll know what it was over.
Right. It's just we gotta wait for him to say what it was over.
I can't wait. I just can't wait to find out. No, seriously, rest in peace to the guy that died. Right. Poor Bradrick, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I can't say anything else about it.
Go to your next one before we both go to hell for this.
A 25-year-old Spanish woman was put to death by euthanasia in Spain. How's that for translation? Okay. This is definitely a big, controversial topic going on right now on social media. She passed away on March 26th. She is probably one of the youngest people who have ever died by euthanasia. I don't think she's the youngest, but definitely the youngest. So in Spain, they have this law where you can definitely, if you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, basically that you're fucking miserable, then you can choose to have physician assisted suicide, basically. Um, which in and of itself is a super controversial topic. But this poor woman, her name's Noelia Castillo. She's had a very hard life, very very hard life. When she was a preteen, she was taken away from her parents due to bad home life conditions and put into a group home. She suffered multiple instances of sexual abuse, including but not limited to gang rape. And things of
Oh,
that nature. Yeah, after one of these horrific events, when she was 21 years old, um, she 2 days after the event, she decided to end her own life and jumped from a 5-story window, which didn't end her life, but instead left her severely paralyzed.
no.
Yeah. So based off of that alone and her injuries and kind of going forward, that's where she kind of made her case to the courts of let me end myself. I'm in extreme amounts of pain. It will never get better. Um, let me take my own life. And she actually won the case in 2024. Again, this is a whole process. People think you just walk into the hospital and go, okay, I'm ready, let's do it. You can't. It's a whole process. It gets approved by, I think it's a panel of 12 doctors has to sign off on it. I think that changes. Maybe I'm thinking of Canada's laws, but I mean, it's a big deal. You can't just have suicide. You can't just do it. You're not allowed. You have to go through a whole process. So, I mean, they deemed her, yep, you sure can. Let's get this over with. 2024, they approved it. Well, her father, along with the help of good Christian lawyers, which is the name of the group in Spain that's against euthanasia, they fought this. Her dad stating that she does not have the mental capacity to make that decision to end her own life. And
Well, she tried before when she did have it.
right, she's already tried once, so
Right.
here we are. And some people, of course, this is a hot button topic on social media because a lot of people are talking about it. Um, they think, well, like obviously she had a dad that loved her. Maybe, she shouldn't have been allowed to do this. Things do get better, things change.
Was this her biological father?
This is her biological father.
Okay.
And
People need to know the whole story then.
well, what she says is that, well, my dad never even doesn't visit me. Like I'm in a care facility. He doesn't call me, doesn't visit me. We don't talk.
Mhm.
The fact that he's come forward now to try to save my life is just kind of too little too late, pops. And
So she's saying all of this after she jumped off the
yeah,
5-story building?
yeah,
Oh, she's perfectly mentally capable of
yeah.
making her own decisions.
Oh yeah, she's given public interviews because this has been again an ongoing case since before 2024 became controversial when the family tried to
Mhm.
intervene and stop it in 2024. But there's definitely people that don't think that we should play God in any capacity, and it's not up to us to decide when someone goes and someone doesn't. And I don't really think it's that simple.
Right.
This is a very personal decision that people make, and I think that people are suffering, so be it. But the thing on social media is that people think it's unfair for her to have done this. It doesn't matter now. She is dead. She did die on the 26th. But people think it's unfair because they're under the impression that this decision was made solely based on her mental health and all of the issues that she had growing up and all the trauma that she went through and stuff, which is fine. But you cannot partake in euthanasia based off of mental health in any of the countries that it's legal in.
Okay.
It's only purely based off of your physical health and your physical, well-being, whether or not you have a good prognosis of what you're doing.
Mhm.
Um, so this wasn't just based off of her mental health, but that probably did obviously play a large factor into it because she did try to take her own life already on her own accord before she was physically handicapped. So,
Right.
I mean, I
And
just
how that didn't work, I have no idea.
right, which well, she don't either, and then you have to live with that afterwards. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. There's some people that are like, oh, I attempted and I regret that I attempted and I got better and things got better. And And that's great and that's wonderful, but there are people that attempt it, they fail, and then they keep attempting it until it happens.
Right.
We can't dictate whether or not someone needs to live because we believe it's going to get better for them. I mean, not that I think that suicide's the way to go, because once you end it, that's over. You don't have any more chances for it to get better. So you may as well stick around and just see if it does,
Right.
It's my personal take on it. But at the end of the day, also, frankly, it's your life. And I think that everybody should have that decision to do with it or do without it what they choose.
Well, they should, but I agree with the mental part. Like, kind of sometimes just need to wait that shit out.
Tough it
But
out,
if
right?
there's like horrible physical ailments that go with it, I mean, that's pretty much, if you're in pain every day your whole life and you don't want to do that anymore, that's your decision. Like,
Yeah, it's never going to get better. It's really, again, it's an interesting topic. And I think that, it's the same way I feel about the death penalty. A lot of people are like, oh, for the death penalty, let's stop spending money on prisoners. Well, it actually costs more money to put somebody on through death row than it does to keep them alive the rest of their life in prison.
right.
So it doesn't do the taxpayers any favors. I think it's up to the families of those affected whether or not the death penalty is given, because some people have strong views about that type of thing. They don't want the blood on their hands. They don't want
I
to
think it'd be more torture to let them sit in prison every day of
I
their
do
life
too.
than die.
Right. Can you imagine sitting there and you're never going to leave ever?
Especially if they're in like
Never.
solitary confinement and there's no way anybody can touch them to end it for them. I mean, you're screwed.
Right. You're never going to get out of there ever again. That's your home for the rest of your life. You have no goals, you have no hopes, you have no dreams. And I think that's horrible. Thinking about the decision that you made that one time because you were fighting because your friend called you Stumpy or whatever. And so
Right.
and you got to live with that.
Let me ask you real quick. Can you hear people in the background?
No.
Okay. Just making sure they're
You
not
got a
being
party
too loud.
going on?
No, it's just Brandon's so loud when he talks.
Oh.
He's
I don't
like
hear
3
him.
rooms away, but I can hear him.
Oh. Is he watching Antiques Roadshow?
No, he's talking to Eva right now.
Oh. Okay.
He's sick, so he's been really not doing anything
Yeah.
the last few days.
Men.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so like I said, it's an interesting story and it's an interesting topic. Feel how you want to about it, but again, that's not hopefully not a decision I'll ever have to make for
Right.
myself or anybody else, right? But we do make those tough decisions. We do have family members that go into a coma, or people on life support that we have to consider, or my brother-in-law's grandma, she was like in her 90s and she was just like, it wasn't anything about being depressed, or she just was done living. She didn't live anymore. She's done. She was tired, she was old, it was time, and so she just stopped taking like her medications and died, and that was fine. And like apparently that's just kind of normal in like nursing homes, like you can do that.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, well, why not then just give them the old right arm treatment and just let them go then and there instead of suffering through their ailments. Right. Like that doesn't seem nearly as humane as euthanasia,
Right.
But that's what we do here. Like that's, if you take somebody off of life support, they just slowly die instead of we could just end it right then and there. So I don't know, but she got her wish. She was excited to not suffer anymore. Her family had requested to be there with her, but she had requested to do it completely alone.
Good for her.
Despite the fact that people from all over the world, including celebrities, offered to pay her lifetime care to get her to stay. This was her decision. She was set on it, and like you said, yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a Debbie Downer of a topic there after such exciting news that we had before this. But we got another fun.
I'm about to bring you back up again.
I know. Cassie's bringing it today.
So
let's do it. Yeah, let's do the thing, because this one got me too.
Yeah, it got a lot of people.
Yeah.
So a man told Florida deputies he had been taken by a pod of dolphins led by one called Gerald and forced to assist in building an underwater city. The man drew blueprints in the sand and showed how the dolphins communicated by using sequences of clicks. The blueprints described condos, a town square, a recreation center, and even zoning permits. So, this is fake news. We found out this is fake news. The satirical post spun an elaborate tale set in Fort Myers featuring a fictional character named Ricky James Hollowell, who was 33, a fictional responding deputy named Sean Oakley, and the now infamous dolphin foreman, Gerald. Hollowell said he was released because the dolphins were satisfied with his work. Gerald supposedly said they'd be back for phase 2. The fictional sheriff was quoted saying, "I've been with the sheriff's office 11 years. The blueprints were the part that got me. He had zoning." There was so much traction in this case that the actual Lee County Sheriff's Department had to step in and tell people to stop. This is not real. Like, it was going on news, like the news channels, the online news sources. People were contacting the sheriff's department because it was a good fake story. And as good as it was so humorous. You were thinking, like, this has to be freaking fake, right? But yeah, I know you did some research on the medical part of it because that's what you told me about. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I was muted and I'm just talking away. I had a lot to say.
Yes, please start because you have medical.
Yes.
You have medical
so
facts.
I came across the story. I don't remember. I think it was like a Facebook post, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't real. So I go on the Facebook post and I'm reading the comments, and usually you'll find some comments that's like, oh, it's not real. It takes like 5 minutes of reading them. But I found a YouTube video that led to a newscast about this fucking story. And I'm like, are you shitting me? And so what they're saying in the newscast was that, when they took the man to the hospital, they found him drawing blueprints in the sand, and they took him off to the hospital. And what the hospital staff found was that he did have like debris and shit in his lungs that indicated that he had spent some time in the water.
Yeah, like seaweed and all kinds of stuff.
Like corals and stuff. And it was like, what the fuck? Like, that couldn't have happened unless he was in the water, And so I'm like, holy shit, this is actually like this is for real. Like, this is, and it wasn't like it's for real that the dolphins took him underwater, and made him build.
Well, it said in the story, like, the deputies asked him how he was able to breathe that long for like 3 days underwater, and he said that Gerald built like this bubble around him so he could breathe.
A bubble. And I was like, what the fuck, are you serious? Like, this is crazy. So then I just kind of put it down and forgot about it for a minute. I'll do news research usually for the show on Sundays, and was like, whatever. And then like you had sent me that video and I had like messaged you back, and I was like, well, apparently this is like crazy because they like found shit in his lungs and stuff, and then we kind of talked about it for a minute, and you're like, wait, this is real? And I was like, maybe it's not real. And, I thought about it, and then so I Googled it, and the first thing that popped up was an article about the police saying, yeah, this didn't happen. I was like, damn, I got. So even I'm susceptible to getting got sometimes, y'all. It happens. I don't know if the newscast that I saw about it was real. Maybe they reported on it because it was so widespread, or if
that was real and they reported on it, they have to feel like freaking idiots.
Or what if the whole newscast was AI?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was a fantastical fake news.
Yeah, it was good, right? It was a good fake, but definitely fake. And I'm sad about it. I wish, because as soon as I saw the newscast, I'm like, was it aliens? Right? We hear a lot about like the USOs and stuff, like, and aliens living in the ocean. Like, maybe they weren't actually dolphins. They just made they look like dolphins because we know plenty of times where aliens make themselves look like things, right? So, and then I'm like, well, shit, JD Vance did say that they're demons, so maybe they are.
And I was thinking more like, man, Aquaman's name's Gerald.
Gerald, that was probably the dead giveaway. Let's be so for real. Like the fact that his name was Gerald. But I don't know, man. I've heard crazier things from people that swear up and down it happened.
Right.
So it had me going. I'm like, oh my God, is he for? So I was gonna reach out to the guy, in the news story and be like, yo, come on the show.
Jerry Hallwell.
Yeah, come on the show, man. And but I couldn't find who he was anyway. And found out it was not real. So sad. I'm sad about it.
How do people come up with this stuff? It's so amazing.
Chat GPT.
Oh, Chat GPT has a sense of humor.
If you tell it to, yeah. It'll do whatever you want. It's strictly there to serve you. I don't know. I don't know. People are people.
Right. Like, I've never used Chat GPT, so I have no idea what it can do. But that's amazing.
There's this guy on YouTube. His name is Eddie Burback.
Okay.
And he's got this amazing video, and everybody should watch, especially if you're on the fence about AI and whether or not you should be into it. And it's a video where basically he's like testing ChatGPT about, like, he wants to write a book about himself because he is the world's most amazing baby in the world. And he's like convinced ChatGPT that, like, as a 3-day-old baby, he has like written a whole book and shit. I don't remember if that was exactly the claim, but it was like something ridiculous that a baby obviously can't do. And like ChatGPT is like on top of it and like hyping him up and totally believes everything that he's saying. And
wow.
It's really wild because the way that it talks, it's like, it's just so matter of fact, but it's because it is designed to tell you what you want to hear. Like, it's not designed to tell you facts. It's designed to satisfy you as an individual so that you keep using it.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. No, it's a really, it's silly, but it is an extremely eye-opening video on the whole topic. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I don't know, check that out one day.
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't we get into finally tonight's topic? We had a lot of news this week.
Yeah, the news was great.
Some good news, but let's get into it. I know you guys are super excited to hear about this one. The Stanford Prison Experiment was an deemed unethical human experiment that took place in August 1971. It was led by one psychologist, Philip Zimbardo, at Stanford University. The objective of this experiment was to observe basically what happens when people are given power, roles of authority, versus people who are powerless. Zimbardo was kind of most interested in finding out if the distinct personalities of the guards and the prisoners were the reason for the unrest in prison systems, or if it were due to the nature of the environment. So, like, for instance, everybody's like, oh, only assholes become cops. Right? So, like, is it that cops are assholes because only assholes become cops? Or are cops assholes because they get in that position of authority and it kind of makes them be an asshole? Or hardened criminals don't respect authority, so therefore you take hardened criminals and you put them in a criminal setting with other criminals, they're just going to become worse criminals because, again, they don't respect authority and they're already bad people, so they just continue to be bad people. Or again, is it because their peers are also bad people and so they're influenced by the folks around them rather than just they're inherently bad people in the internet system? Which is a really, kind of good and worthy, psychological endeavor, right? That is not a bad idea. This study was funded by the Office of Naval Research.
Okay.
Yeah. In order to kind of better understand the relationship between military personnel and like prisoners of war. Because those definitely have kind of a lot more hardened situations, right? We all know prison's not good.
No.
Right? It's not a good place. You don't want to be in prison.
Yeah.
whether working there or, being there as a prisoner. You don't want to be there. It's dangerous. Why the fuck why is prison so goddamn dangerous for people? What is it about it? And what is it about, the guards that kind of contribute to these daily dangers of prison life, because they don't really seem to protect the prisoners much.
No, not at all.
As a matter of fact, they're very much
kind of like
taking advantage.
Will take bribes.
Right. They'll take bribes off of them. They'll take advantage of them straight up. We have in women's prisons. I mean, how the fuck are women prisoners becoming pregnant? Well, we all know it ain't the other women.
You sure?
Right. Now, I heard it was. That warden said it was the other women. Despite all the babies looking exactly like him. I don't know. It's, again, you've got these guards that don't really view them as human. You've got the prisoners who kind of know that. And so now they're on their own. And so, how can we bridge that gap? We can't even begin to work to bridge that gap if we don't really understand where it comes from to begin with, right? So let's figure out what causes it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the idea behind this whole thing. So his idea was to take a random assortment of men that applied, college students, and put them into a prison simulation over the next 2 weeks, right? So you'd have some guards, you'd have some prisoners. They would, the only thing that the guards were supposed to do was to keep order. The only thing that the prisoners were supposed to do was just comply. It was just supposed to be like playing house when you're a kid, except you're prison. That's what I did. We played like we were in prison because my dad was, right? So we just, we got into knife fights and had riots in the cafeteria and stuff. It was fun.
I was painting a picture in my head. Sorry.
I don't think we ever did. We played cops and robbers, but I never did play prison as a kid. God, that would be so sad. I'm sure some kids do.
Right?
Oh, God. So, so that was basically, the gist of the whole experiment. So.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds awful.
Well, it sounds pretty easy, right? If you're somebody that's going into it and you're like, oh, you have to be a prisoner for 2 weeks, you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. 3 hots in a cot.
Right.
I'm not really in prison, right? Like, that's right.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess, because I could do 2 weeks with my freaking eyes closed, like, literally.
Right. I mean, well, and they were being paid for it. At the time, they were being paid $15 per day for the 2 weeks that it was for. And that equals to about, $115 to $120 in today's money.
Okay, yeah.
A day. So,
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Right, I was getting shit when I was in there.
Right, you weren't even getting $15 a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it seems okay. So they ended up placing a couple of ads, in the help wanted section and the Palo Alto Times and the Stanford Daily, that read, male college students needed for psychological study of prison life, $15 per day for 1 to 2 weeks beginning August 14th. For further information and applications, come to room 248, Jordan Hall, Stanford U. So 75 men ended up applying for the position, but only 24 were selected based on whether or not they had a criminal background already, based off of their psychological factors, right? They can't have any mental health issues, and of course, based off of their medical history. They can't have any physical issues.
Right.
But at the end of the day, out of the 24 that were selected, only 21 had participated. I don't know. I guess there were 2 people that were on standby that never got called back in, and then 1 person that just dropped out because maybe they had other obligations. I don't know. They're expected to stay here for 2 weeks, so.
Right. So they gotta, if something pops up for, I don't know, another class or anything, like.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. It happens. So day 1 was pretty uneventful. I'm sorry. So before we get there, so obviously out of the 21, they do it as even of a split as they could. 11 of the people were guards and 10 of them were prisoners, because that made more sense. You don't want to have more guards than you do, more prisoners than you do guards.
But like in reality, there's like 2 guards for like 75 prisoners.
So the guards would work in 8-hour shifts, and there would be 3 of them on a shift.
That's still too many.
Yeah, you're probably
If you're
right.
gonna do it the right way.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe one to the 10. Yeah, you're probably right. That would have been
Right.
better. But yeah, so they weren't always working because they needed time to rest, and you're not working all the
Mhm.
time. But good call out. Good call out. So day one, the prisoners were actually randomly arrested by the local police department that was very much participating in the event.
Oh, wow.
So the police just showed up at their homes, put them in handcuffs, put them in the back of the car, took them down to the police station. Just like you would be if you were arrested for real for something that you did that you're going to prison for.
Right.
So they take them down to the police station. They got fingerprinted, photographed, and booked. And then they were blindfolded, and they were transported over to Stanford University psychology department in the basement, which would at that time be their home for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, so it wasn't even at like a real jail. It was like
No.
they made one.
Yes, they made a jail. So in the basement of the psychology department, cells were created that were designed to hold 3 prisoners each, which I don't know how that worked because they had 10. And then there was a small corridor that would be considered the prison yard that they could
Mhm.
hang out at. And then a small closet was converted into solitary confinement, aka the hole. Yeah, and then across the hallway there was a big room, much larger room that was where the guards would stay.
Okay.
So the guards did have to stay there as much as they did, but they weren't always working.
Gotcha.
So upon arrival, the prisoners were stripped down of their clothes, had all their personal property taken, again, just like you would be in a regular prison. They were hold on. They were issued smocks to wear that had a number on them, and this would be their identification for the duration of the time that they would be there. They were also given tight nylon caps to kind of simulate the head shaving, because you get your head shaved as soon as you go in. It's a way of being,
Wow. Pretty hardcore.
yeah, they were pretty serious about it. Well, they could have just shaved their heads, but they didn't. So they did like a thing. But yeah, you could be deloused, or
Mhm.
that's why they shave your head, is because you might have lice.
Right.
And so they, instead of doing that, they put the caps on their heads. And then they were also adorned with a lockable chain around one ankle that could be attached and chained up to whatever you would.
They had to wear that the whole
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Just around the one ankle, but still. From that day forward, they were expected to drop their names and only go by the numbers on their smocks.
Mhm.
That was it. They didn't have a name anymore. They were number whatever. The
And
guards.
it's always like a long ass number that you have to remember.
Well, this one they weren't so bad. I think there were 3 and 4 digit numbers, but yeah. But I don't know, you get used to it.
Right.
The guards were outfitted in just general, khaki uniforms, just like what you think a
Mhm.
fucking cop might wear, like nothing special. But they did wear aviator glasses and were instructed to keep them on to hide their eyes.
Okay.
From the prisoners. They were given whistles, and they were given basically billy clubs, right? Like police batons.
Okay.
Now, they were told absolutely no physical violence on the prisoners. This is how the guards are instructed. You cannot physically harm them. However, you need to do whatever it takes to maintain order and command respect
Okay.
without being physically violent. Philip Zimbardo himself, he would be the quote-unquote warden of the prison. He would not be present all the time. However, they did have a running feed of cameras set up where him and a select team of researchers would watch the activities from the other room. And Zimbardo, would kind of come in and kind of course, do the introductions and stuff of how this is going to play out. But yeah, anyway, he was the warden, which the warden is the boss. In case you don't
Right.
know. So on day 2, chaos started almost immediately. almost immediately. At 2:30 a.m., prisoners were awakened by blaring whistles to conduct a quote-unquote count. This would end up being a practice that, unfortunately, the prisoners would become all too familiar with, as these counts were done sometimes hourly, where they would be woken up, they would be told to line up, and they would be told to recite their numbers repeatedly. The guards kind of excuse this away as being a reason to get the prisoners familiar with their new names/numbers, and also give the guards a chance to kind of exercise power over the prisoners, right? This was, again, a way to kind of control them, because they don't really have a choice but to wake up whenever the fuck they want them to and come out and do these counts whenever they decide it's time to do them. So they would go down the line and like I said, chant, repeat, recant these numbers, and they would, just over anything and everything, would restart them over again. So I mentioned to you before you thought that we were talking about the John Travolta movie, that there is a great film. It's called the Stanford Prison Experiment, that does a really good, pretty accurate depiction of the entire thing. And I couldn't figure out how accurate it was, but like in the movie, in one of the first scenes that they're doing these counts, so they're going down the line, and if they say it too quietly, they make the whole line start over again.
Okay.
If they laugh, they make the whole line start over again. At one point, they go down the line, and then they go backwards down the line, so the other way back through. They make them sing the numbers down the line, and if they don't sing good enough, they make them start all over again. And it's just repeatedly over and over and over and over doing it. And at first, like, they're all like, "Oh, this is silly," right? Because this is obviously not real, and we're all just having fun. But as the guards continue to stick to their roles and be like, "Oh, you think this is funny," and then would punish them, for the suspected humor, the prisoners got a little, they felt some type of way about that.
Right.
Obviously.
And just to correct you, it is not John Travolta. It was Tom Hanks.
Oh. Damn. I think that would have been better, though. I don't know. It's I'm gonna watch this movie. Well, the Stanford Prison Experiment has Ezra Miller in it doing Ezra Miller things, and y'all know what that looks like if you're familiar at all with Ezra Miller. And he's a fucking nutcase. So he plays the role really well. He's just him playing himself.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a piece of shit, but he, I don't know. Anyway. It is good. Like I said, it's probably, I'm not usually like, oh, you should watch the movie. It's great. No, this one actually, again, does a great depiction of the events. And like when you go and like Google like what's real and what's not, like when you find out like most of it is, you're like, that's fucked up. So anyway, so this starts off, the prisoners started, taking the rules pretty seriously, actually. They were like, oh, we're going to go ahead and comply, and we're just going to kind of follow and get through it and make our money, right? Get through our 2 weeks. But some of the prisoners were even like ass kissing. So they're definitely like brown nosing the fucking guards, and they'd be like, oh, I heard so and so say that you have a stupid mustache. And then that guard would confront that prisoner like, 1, 2, 3, did you say my mustache is stupid?
It sounds like Super Troopers so bad.
It is. It's like a dark Super Troopers, yeah.
Did you say my mustache was stupid?
I did not rip that off on purpose. Perfect. Yeah, it started getting real bad real quick. So, because you have these like men talking shit about each other and then being catty with each other, civil unrest almost instantly took place. The prisoners ripped their caps off their heads, the ones that weren't ass kissing, ripped off their caps and their numbers and barricaded themselves in their cells. I mean, this like right off the rip gets insane. This is day 2, y'all. Day 2. Now, I don't know if it's because, at that stage, it could have been because they decided to get in a character. right? They're like, I'm here for 2 weeks. Might as well make the most of it, right? I'm the bad prisoner guy, right? So they get into it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can see the guards are taking their role seriously, they might start as well.
Right. And so maybe they weren't necessarily like believing that they needed to do all this, but they were just, again, participating in the event the way they were told to do. Role playing, right? They're like LARPers. And so, anyway, so the barricade there's themselves in the room. So some off-duty guards had to step in and help get things back under control. The guards ended up using fire extinguishers to get into the cells, which is, you're hit with fucking carbon dioxide, and it's freezing cold. It's not a pleasant experience to have a fire extinguisher on you. And so once they got into the cells, they ended up stripping those prisoners completely naked and taking away their beds.
What?
Yeah. So they couldn't barricade themselves with the beds anymore. And if they were going to rip all their shit off anyway, they figured, well, you get nothing. And so this was the punishment. Now, some of the leaders, they actually were taken to the hole and put in solitary confinement for dissenting, right?
On day 2, there were leaders already?
Yeah.
All right.
The non-rebellious inmates were placed in a separate cell together. And then the non-rebellious inmates would actually receive special treatment and extra perks like more yard time and better meals.
Okay.
So they were being hit with positive reinforcement while the rebellious ones were obviously being punished.
Well, yeah, that's how it is.
That usually is how it is. So day 3, okay, we've gotten through day 2. Now we're on day 3. Day 3, the guards become more extreme in their punishments. Some of those punishments included push-ups, but not just push-ups. Push-ups sometimes while other prisoners sat on that prisoner's back, which is difficult. Personal insults was just the thing. They were constantly talking down to these other men, constantly. They had to scrub the toilets with their bare hands.
Ew.
Yeah. And then often what would happen is what they started doing was not just punishing one prisoner, but every prisoner in the cell in order to kind of quell the idea of another uprising. So they didn't want them to think that they did have that power in order to do that and take them. So they just punished them preemptively by, well, you're associating with somebody who doesn't like us and doesn't want to listen to us. So therefore you're in trouble too. So it's kind of a way to break these men a little quicker. The non-rebellious prisoners would also not only still receive that better treatment, they also started scolding the other prisoners.
Okay.
So they were insulting them, talking down to them, telling on them anytime they would, say anything at all that they might hear and the guards might want to know about. But if they saw the other prisoners doing something bad, they would be like, hey, don't fucking do that. Like, you shouldn't do that shit.
This is crazy to me.
It's
just because of like the short timeline, and these people didn't even do anything wrong.
No, it's just a couple. I mean, it's day 3. Day 3. On day 3, the first mental breakdown happens. So prisoner 8612 has a breakdown where he is uncontrollably crying. He is angry and he has very disorganized thinking. And instead of Zimbardo stepping in and being like, hey, calm down, this isn't real, he let the guards step in. And the guards said, listen, you're a weak-ass little bitch. Told this man's having a mental breakdown. You fucking suck. And you're weak, and obviously you're not cut for this life. But you know what? We can use you. If you become an informant for us, we'll go easy on you. And 8612 refused. He said, I'm no snitch. But he returned to a cell, and what he told the other prisoners is, you can't leave. You can't quit. because he was actively wanting to leave at that point in time, and instead the option he was given was to become a snitch in prison.
Right. I'm no snitch, but I'm a pussy.
I know, because they told me I am. That's all they kept saying, you fucking pussy. They probably did say that too, actually.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even real prison guards would say that.
Oh, yeah. So on day 4, prison guards had heard a rumor that the others were planning an escape. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a rumor that the prisoners were attempting to escape or planning to escape. So the prison guards and the researchers contacted the local police department and ramped up security on the campus just in case the prisoners did escape.
There's freaking 11 guards to 10 prisoners in the room next door. If you let any of those prisoners escape, you are the biggest idiot that has ever lived.
Well, and on top of that, these aren't prisoners. These are college boys.
Mm-hmm. But so are the guards. You know what I mean?
They are, but if they leave that building, the police are gonna come drag them back to the basement. At that point, like, now you're breaking the law.
Mm-hmm. But the law's in on it.
They're in on it, right? It's crazy, and the police are like, "Yeah, we'll help." No problem. Which of course an escape did not happen, but that's kind of what they were doing. On day 4, the prisoners actually got to have visitors, which were their parents, right? Came and visited them in prison. The guards made the prisoners clean up real nice, right? They made them put on nice clothes and clean themselves up, and they staged a large fancy meal and played music the entire time to kind of keep up the facade that everything's great and there's nothing to worry about. And none of the prisoners said anything to the parents, but the parents knew. The parents talked. They felt the tension, and they felt like something was wrong, and they had taken their concerns to Dr. Zimbardo, and he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. Everything's fine." But when your baby's in trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they tried to act like it was okay. After the parents had left, of course, the guards, because of this prison break that they're anticipating, had ramped up their punishments. Now they're all scrubbing toilets with their bare hands.
But they didn't even do anything.
No, but they were planning on doing something they thought.
They thought, yes.
Yeah, because they thought that maybe they might. They deserve.
Even in jail, they don't let you touch the toilets with your bare hands.
Bare hands. Yeah, they were scrubbing the toilets with their bare hands. Sleep deprivation became a game to the guards, and so they would wake them up multiple times a night and do a prisoner shuffle and shuffle them from cell to cell, all while doing a count where, again, they're doing chants and they're reciting their numbers over and over and over again. They would wake them up just to shine the guards' boots, or they would make them clean up imaginary messes. So they'd be like, "Look what you did, 1, 2, 3. Look at that mess there in the corner." And there's nothing there. And they'd be like, "There's shit everywhere. You shit all over the corner. Go clean it up." And they would just, and even they're like, there's nothing to clean. "We don't care. You get over there and you clean that." I mean, they would make them clean up stuff that literally did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
They would also make them count grains of rice.
Just to pass the time by, or
just because they could.
Okay.
So obviously it's getting pretty bad. On day 5, a former prison chaplain comes to visit, right, a pastor. And half of the inmates didn't even introduce themselves by name to the chaplain. They introduced themselves by their number, which was pretty bad.
What they're supposed to do.
Well, but they're still people.
Right.
And they're still not...
They're getting paid for this. They don't not want to get paid.
Right. You're right. That's fair. Prisoner 819 has a complete and total breakdown in front of the priest. While he's having this breakdown in front of the priest, the guards lined up all the other prisoners and made them chant very loudly, "Prisoner 819 is a bad prisoner. Because of what prisoner 819 did, my cell is a mess, Mr. Correctional Officer." Over and over and over again. And prisoner 819 felt responsible that all of his cellmates were now going to face some type of severe punishment because of something that he did. What did he do? Cried in front of the priest.
Okay.
So at that point, Zimbardo does step in. He pulls aside 819 and he reminds him, "Hey, listen, guy, listen. This is not real. You know, these are all just fellow students. You're not really in prison. You're going to get to go home after this. But if you want to go home now, you can." And he says, "Yeah, fuck this. I'm leaving." And he does. He leaves on day 5.
Wow.
A lot of the prisoners at this point actually became very compliant. They were following along these ridiculous, even though the punishments from the guards were now becoming, just increasingly extreme. They were afraid of what might happen if they don't comply. So they were kind of going along with it. And they were also under the impression that they could not leave, that they were actually in prison as prisoners, that they were lied to get to that point, and that, they were definitely suffering some type of delusion, thinking that this was the thing. I actually suffered this when I was in the hospital.
Okay.
So there's like
I can see that.
Right, there's like a psychosis that you can go through where, you start to think that. So like I thought that the hospital was making, even though I was fine, that they were making me stay there on purpose so that they could milk my insurance money.
I could see that easily being what someone thinks in a hospital.
Yeah. Because unless you've been in the hospital, you just don't get it. Like I couldn't even go outside. They wouldn't even, they had like nice little outside sitting areas and they wouldn't let me go outside.
Why not?
Because I don't know. They said, if you walk out that door, we're going to charge off your insurance. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I just want to go sit. I just want to be outside for a minute. And they're like, no, you can't. Hospital policy.
Wow.
And I'm like, can somebody go with me? I mean, what? I just want to touch grass.
Right.
And no, they wouldn't let me. And I was like, fucking, on like day 4 of me being in the hospital, I was like hysterical. And so, you think like, how could this, it's only been a couple of days. How could you deteriorate that much in a couple of days? Oh, you can. You can. Especially when you're somebody that's used to having lots of, free will and independence.
Right. Like being sober and everything, I don't know if I could mentally be in there now.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know. It does something to you. It's something else. So, yeah. So, that was the impression that they were under. So on day 6, things are bad. They haven't slept. Well, the guards have. The prisoners have not. And a fellow co-worker of Zimbardo shows up. She's supposed to sit down and interview everybody, the prisoners, the guards, and everything, and just kind of do like a check-in and see how they're doing. She hadn't been here yet. Her name was Christina, I think it's Maslock. And when she came in and she saw what was happening, she went the fuck off. She said, quote, "It's terrible what you're doing to these boys." And she fucking drilled into Zimbardo. She said, "This is not ethical." Did they really understand? Did they really know what they were getting themselves into when they signed up for this? Are your guards, you're really letting the guards treat people this way? Boys, again, not real prisoners. These are human beings. You're really letting them be treated this way. And Zimbardo, I don't know what it was about Christina. Maybe he had a sweet spot for her. I don't know. Whatever it was that she said to him, which we don't have the full-on conversation about what went down, it prompted him to go ahead and end the experiment.
It honestly doesn't sound that bad to me to where you'd have to end it.
No, you would think you could just go in and do some damage control and like talk to everybody.
Well, for the experiment being what the experiment is, if it was explained that way, like, they should know. Like, they're not doing anything to hurt them. Like,
Well, and there really wasn't like physical harm happening. Like,
mhm,
there was kind of an incident where one of the prisoners got up into one of the guard's faces, and the guard did hit him. He did hit the
mhm.
prisoner. But I think it was after.
Okay, a day without pay.
Well, the prisoner started choking him. He didn't start
Mm.
choking him. He wrapped his hands around his throat. And he said that the prisoner was laughing while he was doing it, he just kind of instinctively, hit him in the chin and was like, "Hey, we're not doing this." And then that was it. That was the end of it. And they
Oh,
all went back to doing their thing. But other than that, there really wasn't any physical violence going on. But yeah, Zimbardo went. He said, "You're all free to leave. We're cutting it early." I don't even think these people, though, the prisoners, I don't think they had any sense of time at that point. I don't think they understood, how long this had been going on for, or how little it had been going on for. But the ad did say about 1 to 2 weeks. It didn't say the full 2 weeks, but he didn't reach it the full 2 weeks before he did end the experiment.
okay.
Now, when they end the experiments, the whole thing was reviewed by the American Psychology Association in 1973, and what they had found was that everything that occurred, according to the standards of that time, met the general ethical code of one of these experiments. So it didn't break any ethics. However, it certainly had an impact on how we viewed ethics going forward in something like this. You need human study for a lot of things,
Mhm.
but because we're people, there is definitely sometimes a gray area about what that looks like. Um, but it wasn't all completely in vain, but not necessarily worth it for kind of what they were doing. They did find that, stripping the individualism of these people definitely played a major part into how they acted. They did interviews with everybody afterwards. They did one the next day after their release. They did one like 2 weeks out, and then they were doing yearly interviews. Supposedly, there's been no ill effects from anybody going forward, but like even the guards were really surprised about the people that they became in their respective settings. They were chosen at random as to what role they would play. So they didn't take into account people that, may naturally be more domineering or more submissive.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't see how any of this could be, like, reputable, because what if the person was an asshole in the first place? Like, how did they arrange that? Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
because the random selection, if you have somebody that claims that they're not an asshole, which first of all, you have to trust the fact that they're not an
Exactly.
asshole.
Like, it doesn't there's no proof behind them saying that.
Right. I mean, yeah, right. You have to know. I mean, you just got to take their word for it. Are you usually an asshole? And they're like, sometimes. Okay, well, but then they're like, no, never. Like, meanwhile, they fucking curb stomp puppy dogs every weekend. We don't know.
Right. Abusers are never gonna say they're
They're
abusers.
abusers, right? I mean, you got some people that are like, oh yeah, I'm such an asshole. They're like super edgelords,
Mm,
But no, generally abusers, yeah, they don't usually come right out and be like, yeah, I suck.
right. They're
People,
trying to do everything they can to hide it, but someone's giving them full range and paying them to be who they are.
well, and I mean, even just like people that don't necessarily suck, we all have faults, right? It's hard to look inward and recognize those faults with yourself. I mean,
Mhm.
we're just really bad at that, so we're all human. That's just part of. So I agree. I mean, I don't think it really would have solved anything. And them kind of blaming this kind of group mentality on why they were doing what they were doing. Um, like, yeah, I suppose that makes sense because again, they were just like, oh well, they were kind of getting carried away in the crowd. It's like when you're not into sports and you go to a sports ball game.
And I'm like, "Please take me home."
A sports ball game.
At what?
At a sports ball game? You don't. You
If it's baseball, oh my god, I just want to kill myself the whole time I'm there.
I've never been to a base. I've only ever been to like a real, sport. I went to a basketball game.
That's
And
horrible too.
no, I had a great time.
The squeaking shoes makes me want to like blow my eardrums out.
Now, I guess I could see
Football's
that.
good. I can do football.
I mean, but this was like NBA basketball game. This wasn't like.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I didn't hear. I mean, the crowd was so loud, I couldn't hear the squeaking shoes.
Oh,
but you get into
I
it
definitely
just
can. I think it's because I'm ready to focus on it already.
You're like the anxiety's kicking in on the way. You already hear the night before in your sleep.
I'm dreaming about squeaky shoes.
Squeaky shoes are pretty terrible, yeah. But no, I mean, but it's just getting in that crowd setting. You're not necessarily into the thing that you're participating in, but because the atmosphere is that way, you're into it too. Is basically what I'm saying. And this is kind of what this was, right? So the guards are being told to be this authoritative figure. And because their friends are also being that too, it's just follow the leader, right? And so they're all being that asshole. Same thing with the prisoners, and probably depending on who you ended up being cellmates with, you're kind of playing off of each other. But again, I don't know. I mean, was that necessarily novel in the 70s? I don't know. I wasn't there. Was this anything really groundbreaking? And, the fucked up thing about it is that at the end of the day, the Department of Naval Research decided, yeah, this isn't really useful. We just kind of wanted to find ways to make prisoners more compliant.
Wow.
Yeah, so it just didn't really benefit them at all, even though they did fund it. They just kind of admitted that was their role in it, and that was that. So, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's not like the most gruesome experiment out there. As a matter of fact, one of these episodes, when I become brave enough, we're going to talk about Unit 731 and the fucked up things that the Japanese did to people. And
oh God,
it doesn't hold a candle to something like that. As far as experiments go. But I think it is noteworthy, and I think it's interesting enough to kind of talk about, because like I said, there's this like weird gray ethical line, and this one definitely walked that line. Because yeah, I agree, nothing like terrible happened except for the fact that it hurt a bunch of men's feelings.
Right.
That was it, pretty much. But they got paid.
Right.
I mean, so I don't know, man. I'd just be like, well, and like I said, I did support it earlier because as I stated, when you're locked up someplace or you feel like you're locked up someplace, you go crazy a little bit. I wouldn't make.
I mean, I think it is a cool idea to do the experiment, but I don't think they can have anything like concrete that they can like study off of how they did it.
I still don't really understand how it got so bad so fast.
Exactly. Like something else was happening.
Right. Like, why did it go to 0 to 1,000 on day 2? Like, they were already rioting. For what reason? Like, what?
They were probably just went in there and started getting raped.
What? Started raping each other, and then they're like, yeah, fuck this.
Right.
Probably. I mean, I guess they left that part out. The story. I don't know. Like I said, except for the only thing that I could think of is that, again, day 2 wasn't a real riot. To me, it was just them kind of LARPing. It's like kids, playing with their friends, and they're like, you play too hard. I'm going home. And it's like someone takes it too far. Like, that's what it seems like to me happened. Like, somebody took it a little too seriously. Somebody got their feelings hurt, and then that just had a fucking wave effect over everybody else.
Right.
And then they all just rode that wave.
Yeah.
Because I don't
pretty much.
I don't understand why it would go that. Nobody really has explained that to me, and I've been trying to understand it, but I can't.
Yeah, like the whole thing, like the whole like experiment. It's cool experiment. It's really cool how to see how like the people took to their parts and how long it took them to go crazy. And I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I don't get it. Like,
No.
I've seen people in jail go crazy within days, but it's usually because they come in on so many different drugs and they're coming down from it. These are just normal kids that signed up for something that they knew they were getting into and getting paid for it. So something else had to have happened that they don't want to speak of. Or like even the lady that came in to like do the interviews with him, like must have seen something that we don't know about, like to end it on day 6. Because if everything that happened, like just how they're saying it happened, there's no reason you should have shut that down.
Like something, like maybe there really was a rape or something, like something extreme.
Right.
And, men don't usually talk about those things. We know that.
Exactly.
And Stanford wouldn't be like, yeah, we did this human experiment. Somebody got fucking raped. Or probably nobody got beaten because the parents would have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even just straight up raped, but sexually assaulted, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. That's a good point. That's a good speculation because, no, I agree. Why did she come in freaking out and all they're doing is push-ups and wiping the same spot 20 times over?
Exactly.
Cleaning toilets with their bare hand. Well, which is really disgusting, but it sounds like they clean the toilets a lot. They're probably the cleanest. You probably eat out of them things.
Exactly. Like, from everything that they're saying that happened, there is nothing that should have shut this down unless there's something that we don't know about.
Or escalated it that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good points. That's a good point. I didn't see anything like that. Just the whole, just the idea of it all seemed to be, like, again, the prisoners start kind of believing that they're in something real instead of a fake prison setting. The fact that the cops were so willing to participate in this, like I said, them willing to catch prison escapees would have been interesting. I kind of wish we would have seen that play out.
It's like I said earlier, though, like if you literally let these people escape that are in the room right across the hall from you, and there's 10 of you or 11 of you to 10 of them, like something is wrong.
Yeah, but if you did it on purpose just to see if the local law enforcement would participate in not only catching them but then bringing them back, that'd be
Honestly, do you think if the guards were acting like that already, they were gonna let them go on purpose?
Oh hell no! They
They would have been
wanted to be in charge.
linebackers in a fucking second.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And where did that rumor come from? I mean, is Zimbardo, is he implanting? Maybe he was playing more of a part in this as the warden, implanting information to these people, and then it goes too far because he's lying. He's
Or one of the inmates that they separated into the good cell would be starting rumors to make sure that they stayed in that cell,
like they're
making the
one.
other ones
Yeah,
seem like they were about to do something bad. You know what I mean?
like I'm going to make up something and tell on them so that I continue to be on the good side,
Right.
so that I don't have to clean toilets with my hands.
Exactly.
Maybe.
But also going back to earlier, like, yeah, he could have been an asshole already and just lied about it, but like, how did they go into like the medical part of the like interviewing? Like, did they actually get stuff from the people? Like, you can ask me if I'm like got something mental wrong with me, and I can tell you no, but maybe that's my schizophrenia coming out, and there's nothing wrong with me.
True.
But there is.
And schizophrenia doesn't usually take full effect until your 30s, especially for men. So no, they did do from what it sounds like, they did do a really good job, a really good professional job vetting these people. They all took personality tests, and they probably did have to present some type of doctor's note or something saying that they, to their knowledge they're healthy. But just because to their knowledge they're healthy doesn't mean that they are.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, drug tests were probably a thing, so they probably made sure they weren't on drugs. And it
Well,
was fine.
I mean, that's fine, but I don't know.
Like,
It's just weird to me.
in the movie, and like I said, it's pretty accurate, but it's not 100%. There's a scene where right before they get visits from their parents, they tell them to they say you have 30 minutes to write a letter to whoever you want to visit. And if you don't finish in 30 minutes, then you don't get a visitor. And then one of the prisoners goes, "Okay, that's great. I'm happy to write my letter, but I need my glasses." And they're
So they
like,
took their glasses from him.
"Yeah." And they're just like, "Sorry." And don't give him glasses to write his letters. I don't remember if he finished his letter or not. Again, I don't know if that happened for sure, but like, if it did, I mean, that would be real shitty, but being denied medical care in prison is not so strange.
Well, no, but if you come in with glasses, you get to keep your glasses.
Usually you get to keep your glasses. I mean, unless they just want to be, unless the guards just want to be assholes
Mm-hmm.
and not let you have them.
Right.
They could, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Small fry.
So my next question is, they went 6 days. Did they get their 3-day commissary order?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's every 3 days. Like, if you're doing it prison style.
Yeah, I wonder. They didn't mention commissary, but maybe they didn't have commissary in the 70s.
Maybe. I think they might have.
They might have, yeah, probably. I don't know what prison was like in the 70s.
Well, me neither, but
Yeah.
I don't know what prison is like, period. I just go from county, but I know I watch a lot of prison shows.
Well, my dad said that county is always worse.
Yes.
He's like, if you're going to do something and you're going to spend some time locked up, just go to prison. Just make it bad enough that you actually go to prison, because fuck being in jail for 90 days.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, right. He's like, it's the worst. Don't ever go there.
It's bad, but it's what you make of it. I mean, you can't go in there with a shit attitude the whole time, because then you're going to hate it for sure.
I would probably literally die, actually. Diabetics don't get treated correctly in prison. Say that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's that medical care thing again. You get super fucked in jail. Not necessarily in prison, but definitely in jail. So that's like one of the things. Like, as a diabetic, I guess I'm in all these diabetes groups, and people are like, "What about jail? Like, what happens if you go to jail?" And people are like, "Just don't."
Right?
Just don't go. Whatever you do, fucking don't go to jail. It's like, oh, okay. And so far, so good, right? It's one of the biggest reasons why I don't get out there and protest, is because I like being alive. I'm good. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is an interesting one. Definitely a lot more hardcore stuff out there, and I'm happy to talk about them. That sounds weird. I'm not happy to talk about them, but
oh, I'm super happy to talk about them.
So hyped up, it's gonna get sick, man. No, I've been working on the Unit 731 episode for a minute, because I can't. It's hard to sit down and just go, because I want to do every experiment done there.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me queasy. So, but we'll get there.
It's gonna be great.
Work our way up to it. Yeah, it'll be something else. So this one's easy. This one's so I fucking walk in the park. There's
nothing happened.
Right, no, there's nothing to
clean some toilets with their hands. I mean, but
they cried a lot.
If they had to pick up hairballs, though, that's where I'm out. Nope.
Probably they might have. It wasn't 7 days. Everybody had big hair.
I don't know what it is, but touching loose hair makes me want to gag.
It's not fun.
Even if it's mine, I'm like, ugh.
Gross. Right, cleaning out your drain. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And you gotta do it.
Yeah, you definitely do.
You have to. But it is
with
really
long
gross.
hair. That shit is not fun if you let it sit in the drain.
No, not at all. So, any last words on the Stanford Prison Experiment before I go and clean the long hair out of my drain?
Oh God. Yeah, it's a lot better than the Philadelphia experiment.
Well, at least we know this one actually happened.
Right. But I had such a cool drawing in mind for the Philadelphia experiment.
Not so cool for the Stanford one. It's just a bunch of guys crying.
You might get bathroom art for this one. Like somebody cleaning a toilet with a cute little saying with it. Please be sweet, wipe the seat.
Oh, no. That would make a good bathroom piece, though.
Right? Good thing it's the first week. Oh, no, we're still in March.
We are still in March. So
this one doesn't even have to count.
It doesn't have to count. Yep, we got more. Got more ideas coming. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's like I said, it's an interesting one. Definitely check out the movie if you haven't seen it. For the Cliff Notes version. But there's tons of information out there about kind of what's happened. None of the guys, they've talked about it in a limited way. But they don't seem to have really come forward and talked about it in any large capacity because, I guess there's no reason to. Nothing happened.
Well, it just shows that they're a bunch of pussies. Why would you want to talk about it?
They were all a bunch of Stanford students. Like,
they cried. They had to clean a toilet.
If you...
Mommy and Daddy came. They put on a happy face.
They've probably never cleaned a toilet before, you're probably right.
Then they went to their cells and cried some more.
Now, if they would have pulled some fucking people from the hood, I mean, they'd have been at week 3, and they'd be like, we're still good.
Yep.
Still give me my 15 a day? All right, I'm still here.
If they would have did women, they would have lasted longer.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely would have.
For sure.
Yeah, they definitely would have. I mean...
Do you know how bad we just want to get away for a week anyway?
You mean I could just lay here for 2 weeks?
Right.
You sure?
And the guards, if they're women, we're doing count twice a day. Like... Make sure you're here.
You good? Okay, good. I'm going to go back here now and watch my show. Okay.
Right?
Is it the one where Roderick and Jessica get into a fight? Yeah. It's my favorite.
Well, girl, let me just pull this TV on in here.
Pretty much, yeah. It would have been super chill. But these men, they had it hard.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
They had it real tough.
They were washing dishes with, like, freaking pads and shit. You don't know how to be street until you know how to do dishes with a pad.
Yeah, you're probably right. That probably is the biggest contributing factor to this. They're just too soft.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just softies. Whew, boy. Okay.
Bunch of pussies.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been interesting. I'm super glad we've been expanding out to kind of more topics. Definitely hitting that wide range of the weird umbrella.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Certainly enjoying that. You guys, next week's episode is going to be fucking wild.
I know what it is this week too.
Yeah. Oh, you sure?
Yeah. I do.
It's the Philadelphia experiment.
I'm already prepared.
No, really. No, I guarantee most of you have not heard what we're going to be talking about next week. And if you have, then you get excited. You'll be excited.
I've never heard of it until you sent the list out.
It's fucking wild. So that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, come join the Patreon. Join us on Patreon. If you join now, I will thank you on the show publicly to everybody. I'll let everybody
We should. We only have a few right now, so we could definitely thank them.
Yes, we should. We should start thanking. I mean,
It will not take up too much of your time.
I'll give a general thank you to the people. Right now, I don't have everybody's names listed, but yeah, we'll have a couple. Everybody else come join. You'll get added to the special brand new thank you list. You get ad-free episodes every week. You get a little bit early. And then, of course, as of right now, you get to join us for our monthly meetup. And you may be entered in to win a piece of art inspired by one of that month's episodes. And they've been great so far. So.
Oh, yeah. It's been fun.
you know.
And now you get to get chapters out of the book that I'm putting together.
Yeah.
And we have other things too that we're
Other things
in the works with. We just haven't completed them yet.
No, we'll get there. I mean, let us know what you want to see. What would you pay for? You know, what
Right.
what do you guys want? I mean, we'll do what you want. Whatever you want.
Kinda. Let's not go too far.
within reason. But everything has a price. I mean,
Asherz will do what you want.
I'll clean a toilet with my bare hands. I'll come pull the hairs out of your sink drain.
I might pay you for that.
We'll, but no, just let us know, communicate. But we do have some things in mind that we're working on. And then, of course, like I said, merchandise. If that's something that you guys want to do, we'll do it. We'll do the thing. I mean,
Oh,
shit,
yeah, for
free
sure.
money. That's easy enough, you know. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we'll end this episode here. We'll see you guys back here next Wednesday.
Bye.